Because when you're with Katie, you get what you get and you don't get upset.
Right.
Okay. So one of the other things that I love, and like I honestly will say this sometimes in presentations, and I always quote you of, like I'm talking about like, the changing systems and really thinking differently about the educational experience. And certainly I recognize that I'm going to say some things that are going to like spark ideas and make people kind of tense in different ways. And, I always say, like my dear friend George always says, like, I am literally asking you as a colleague to challenge me while I'm here. I'm going to make myself available. There's lots of breaks. I want to be challenged while I'm here, but please don't challenge me after I left when you're in the parking lot at the end of the day. Right. And it's like, I think that this is so powerful, is that like, we have to be able to like to be brave enough to kind of share our voices of like, you know what, this isn't my experience and I'm really struggling with this right now. But a big part of like coming together as a community is having these conversations and realizing that like communities aren't always like, let's hold hands, let's skip around the fire. But like, so you always say that, and you've had a lot of people that will come and say, okay, I want to challenge you. And you're like, okay, beautiful, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So why do you think that's so important, that like, that's, something that's like all professional learning kind of honors that?
Well, because they're going to challenge you no matter what.
So it's better.
I'd rather know. And I think that to me, like as much as we talk about like professional ethics, okay? Like, hey, if you have an issue, go right. That doesn't happen all the time. Like, don't even kid ourselves, right? So if I would say something as an administrator, and a teacher had an issue with it, they're supposed to talk to me. But that didn't happen. Now they were going to each other, and it'd be like, hey, this teacher's really mad at you for this and all this other stuff, right? And so one of the things I really adopted is that as an administrator, I'd always say, I cannot solve problems I do not know exist. So if there is an issue, you tell me. I need to know what is going on so I can help you, but don't complain about it unless you talk to me about it, and then we'll see what we can figure out. So when I actually create those spaces to have that conversation, and I do kind of say it jokingly, but also sincerely, because that challenge, the majority of people, I'm new to the community when I come in there, but I'm trying to model something to them as well. They're not going to challenge me. They're like, this guy's new. I don't want to like make him feel uncomfortable and stuff like that. But somebody's going to. And what happens when that somebody does, they're often representing, a group of people. It's not just their challenge, their singular focus. It is actually multiple groups. But then that conversation and having it with them and kind of going back and forth, and not saying like, challenge me so I can prove that you're wrong. It's so I can listen to hear what's going on. Because, for example, I'm in, your state, and then I go to Texas, and then I go to Canada, and then I don't know the context. I don't know what's going on. So they might say, hey, like, I love this idea, but here we're dealing with this. I'm like, oh, okay. I totally get that. Here's a different way I would approach it because of that. And I think that's where you have to, like, my whole thing is, nobody knows your community better than you. Nobody understands your context. So maybe the thing I said doesn't work the way I said it for you, but don't complain about it without me here. Let me try to give you some feedback. And sometimes, to be honest with you, there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I never I don't know if you remember this part, but there was the woman who called me a granny basher, which is like my favorite term of all time. I'm like, I'm a granny basher?
Oh, no, I do remember this. Where it was like, you're talking about like some people are very experienced. And
so
some
like,
people,
hey, we have people who have taught for 30 years who will never change. And then we have new people coming in with new ideas. And I always say, and vice versa. So I don't limit that. So she got caught up in the first statement, never heard the vice versa part. She writes me this beautiful email, like about all these good things. And then she says, but I did like this statement, and I found you were kind of granny bashing. And I was like, I love this lady. And it actually made me, every time so now I say, we have new teachers who are teaching the way that they were taught. And we have, more experienced teachers who are totally, totally doing things different, and vice versa. Because and I think that's why it's important, is because, and I even mentioned this book, someone said, well, now you're offending the newer teachers. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, to be honest with you. I'm trying to push people's thinking. But typically, that is not the order you hear it in. It is like these new teachers with their new ideas and all this other stuff, and all the older teachers. Like, I've had teachers sitting there asking some questions. And you're like, a lot of these older teachers, and then I'm like, oh, this is not helping you complain about them right now in the way you're complaining about them, because I don't think older teachers don't try things. So that opportunity, I think that mattered, is saying like, this is something that was said to me, and there's some truth in it, what, like, that I understand it, and here's how I change my practice.